welcome everyone to Integrated English. Today we are going to revise the poem A Thing of Beauty written by John Keats. John Keats was an English romantic poet. He was one of the main figures of second generation of romantic poets along with Lord Byron and P.B. Shelley. Despite his work having been in publication only 4 years before his death. Although his poems were not generally well received during his lifetime, his reputation grew only after his death. So, by the end of the 19th century, he had become one of the most beloved of all English poets. He had a significant influence on the diverse range of poets and writers. Now comes the introduction of the poem. A British romantic poet, John Keats, who was born in 1795 and died in 1821, he published his first epic poem, Endymion, in 1818. It is a narrative about the relationship between a goddess and her human lover. The poem is based on the Greek myth of Endymion, the shepherd who falls in love with the moon goddess Selene, whom the poet renames Cynthia. This extract, A Thing of Beauty, talks of how beautiful things give us pleasure and elevates suffering or sorrows from us. Now comes poem explanation. A thing of beauty is a joy forever. Its loveliness increases, it will never pass into nothingness. The poet says that a thing which is beautiful is joy forever. Its loveliness keeps on increasing with the passing of days, but it will never pass into nothingness, and it never passes into nothingness. But still will keep a bower quiet for us and a sleep full of sweet dreams and health and quiet breathing. And what it does, beautiful thing, what it provides to us, it provides us a shade and a quiet surrounding for us, and it gives us sleep full of sweet dreams. It gives us good sleep, and which results in health and in quiet breathing. When we talk of figures of speech found here, first one is alliteration. Alliteration is use of consonant sounds in close series. As here the example is S and S in sweet and sleep. Sleep and sweet, we have S and S repeated here. So it is figure of speech, alliteration. Sleep, sweet. Now next stanza. Therefore on every morrow are we wreathing a flowery band to bind us to the earth. So therefore this is the reason why human beings keep on wreathing a flowery band, a garland, keep on wreathing every morrow. Morrow here is tomorrow, with, in order to bind us to the earth itself. Spite of despondence, despondence means sadness, spite of despondence of the inhuman dearth of noble nature of the gloomy days. The poet says, in spite of the lack of humanity in the world, in spite of having lot of gloomy or sad days in human life, of all the unhealthy and over darkened ways, there are a lot of unhealthy ways, means criminal activities and over darkened ways in our lives made for us searching. There are these things which keep on searching for us to make our life difficult. In spite of all these things, some shape of beauty moves away the pall. There is some kind of beauty, some shape of beauty which lets the person live the life peacefully. Figure of speech, first one is anaphora. Anaphora is use of same word in two consecutive lines. Here we can see that off and off, two consecutive lines. Here we can see it is anaphora. Second one is alliteration, you know it, the repetition of consonant sounds at the start of two words which are close in series, be in band and be in bind. Be in band and be in bind. Then we have metaphor as well. Two things are compared here. Wreathing a flowery band. It is compared to the beautiful things of our life. Okay, wreathing a flowery band here means it is compared that beautiful things bind us to the earth. imagery. It is creating a kind of sensory effect when we are thinking of these things. They create an image in our mind. Then we have inversion. Inversion is that if the normal order of the words is reversed, then figure of speech inversion is found there. Here in the first line it is, are we reading? Exactly it should be we are reading, but here it is, are we reading? The next stanza here, from our dark spirits, such the sun, the moon, trees old and young, sprouting a shady boon. What here the poet wants to say is that there are various things which are beautiful, which provide us a kind of satisfaction, and we are encouraged to live our life happily. And the poet is calling these things here the trees old and young and sprouting a shady boon, and he is calling these trees that they are providing a shady boon to human beings. He is also calling the animals beautiful. He is calling daffodils the beautifuls, and even the green world means forest. He is calling the forest also beautiful. And he also says that we have clear rills, they too are beautiful. Clear rills here are the narrow river of clean water. He also says that for themselves a cooling covert make, gaze the hot season, the mid forest break. He also says that these things are able to create a cool covering for all of us against the hot season which is there around us. Hot season here can be hot season also, and hot season can be the bad days of human life as well. He also says that whenever the bad time come and they put a break on our life, these are the beautiful things who give us a kickstart. Now comes figures of speech. Alliteration, use of consonant sounds at the start of two words which are close in series. Sprouting, shady, simple, sheep. Even spirit, such. Sprouting, shady, simple, sheep. So here figure of speech which is found here is alliteration. Second one is imagery, trees giving shade. Image of shade is produced in our mind. Then we have antithesis. When two opposite ideas are written together, then the figure of speech is antithesis, that is old and young. Next stanza, rich with the sprinkling of fair musk rose bloom, and such too is the grandeur of the doom. We have imagined for the mighty dead all lovely tales that we have heard or read, an endless fountain of immortal drink pouring onto us from the heavens. The poet further carries on with the description of the more beautiful things present on earth, such as the beautiful musk roses which have such a nice fragrance. Then he describes the tales of mighty dead people also. He says that whatever tales we have heard about them, they are all lovely tales. Why? Because these people have sacrificed their lives for the betterment of their country. And he also calls that these stories are like an endless fountain of immortal drinks. These stories about the great people, the warriors, the legends, it is like it provides an endless fountain of immortal drink to us, and it seems that it is being poured onto us from the heaven's brink. He says that these things, these stories are given to us, these stories are like fountain of immortal drink which is poured onto us from heaven itself. It is divine. He is calling the stories about great people, legends, divine. Now figures of speech found here in this stanza. First one is alliteration, use of consonant sound when repeated. H and H is repeated. Have, heard. Okay, heard, have. So here figure of speech, alliteration. The second one is metaphor. When two things are compared, two dissimilar things are compared without using the word like or as, so figure of speech, metaphor is found there. In this case, we have immortal drink. These stories are compared to immortal drink. So figure of speech here is metaphor. Then we have imagery, all these things, bushes full of musk roses. So the image of musk roses is created in our mind. And even the books describing valor of fighter, then grandeur of mighty dead, all these things are here told to us, and these things create an image in our mind. Moving forward, now we'll quickly revise this poem by reading the summary. The poem depicts the importance of beauty in human life from Keats' point of view. Beauty, in whatever form it is found, is the source of eternal joy, and it never passes into nothingness. It is in contrast to dejection, ugliness, and monotony of our day to day lives. In spite of all the difficulties and the sufferings that humans go through, beauty has the ability to make us happy and shift our attention away from the problems. Human life is full of oddities. The poet says here that human life is full of oddities. The beautiful things divert the mind, they divert the attention of the person from problem to happiness. Beauty here, according to Keats, includes daffodils, mountains, rills, and even living beings also. There are a lot of beautiful agents in nature who can give us comfort. All of these agents act as endless fountain of immortal drink. He even calls the stories about legends also to be beautiful, which also provides an endless fountain of immortal drink. And what these things do? These things allow humans to forget harsh realities of life and experience joy. The poem therefore focuses on the fact that we should try to shift our focus from problems. Whenever we are in problem, we should try to shift our attention from the problem to the thing which we find beautiful, which we find soothing, which we find comfortable. Admiring beautiful things is one of the best ways to achieve happiness. This part of the summary can be the theme of the poem as well. Here, most importantly, these last two lines. The poem focuses on the fact that we should try to shift our focus from problems, and admiring beautiful things is one of the best ways to achieve happiness. Okay, so this is the main theme of this poem, and even these things will also be quoted when you are writing theme of the poem. When in your board exam or in your home exam this question is asked, then you will be writing these things as well. Then theme here. The opening lines of the poem itself reveal what the actual theme is. A thing of beauty is a joy forever. So it means the poem is something related to beauty, and that beautiful things provide joy to us. A beautiful object is always treasured in our mind because it provides us eternal and everlasting joy. The happiness that anything beautiful provides never fades into nothingness. Its beauty keeps on increasing with the passage of time. And how it increases? It increases manifold whenever it returns to our mind. Here are a few beautiful pictures. These are all natural pictures, and poet in this poem has called these things beautiful. He has talked about the fountain, like water. He has talked about trees. He has talked about animals, sun, moon, nature, everything whatever is found in nature. He has called everything beautiful. And actually these things are beautiful, and they shift our attention from sadness to happiness. That was all for this poem from my side. Thank you everybody for watching.